Good evening, everyone. Let's have a look at some news stories relating to Palestine, starting with the future of Gaza. And it's Cenk Uygur, our favourite young Turk. Let's see what he's got to say. So, Cenk Uygur called Rabbi Shmuley a monkey or a baboon, and it really set him off. Now, if if it was someone else of a different race and he used the term monkey, it would have been very inappropriate. Is it inappropriate to refer to the rabbi as a monkey, as an insult? Should we use animals to insult people? You tell me. There is a verse in the Quran, in Surah Al-Araf, the Heights, chapter 7, which it references apes at some point. The translation says, "So when they took pride in that which they had been forbidden, we said unto them, Be ye apes, despised and loathed." There are many interpretations of what this could mean. I would think this is talking about people that lived a lifestyle that resembled apes. But I wonder if the rabbi has heard that mentioned before, and is that why he got so triggered by that language? Not sure. What about the actual criticism that Cenk was making? Well, it kind of got distracted from that because he went off on one. From one animal to another, let's hear from the Prime Minister of the UK, Keir Starmer. Historic day. Peace in the Middle East.
Official Dr. Bassam name said Blair's not welcome in any post-war role. He said Palestine's Arabs and Muslims have bad memories of Tony Blair. Remember his role in causing millions of deaths, his words, in Iran, Afghanistan. You didn't put forward Tony Blair for the Peace Board. What's your view?
Well, I think the makeup of the Peace Board is still being discussed. For my part, I have to say, I'm much more interested in the
I've heard you say that, but what's your view of Tony Blair sitting on the board?
Well, look, I mean, that's for others to decide. Tony Blair was a great leader of our country and would make a huge contribution. But I'm not focused on which particular people should sit on which particular board. I'm focused on what do we need to do tomorrow, and I mean tomorrow, to make sure this is implemented.
Would you put yourself forward or put someone else forward for the board?
Well, there's discussions going on about who should be on the board, but I can be clear with you, I haven't put myself forward for that role.
Okay.
But what I have put myself forward for, what I've put our country forward for, is to ensure that we keep doing what we're best at, which is working as we have done behind the scenes to help get this deal to where it is today.
Tony Blair, the former peace envoy for the Middle East, the man with blood on his hands when it comes to Iraq. He went in with George W. Bush, the coalition of the willing. How could you let that man anywhere near peace in the Middle East? And Starmer is a Blairite. He thinks that Tony Blair was a great leader, and even I will acknowledge that Tony Blair did some good things in his early days. But how did he tarnish his record with what he did in the Middle East? And remember what Keir Starmer said about Jeremy, I nearly said the wrong brother, Jeremy Corbyn. He completely disowned him. He turned his back on Jeremy Corbyn. The guy has flip-flopped so many times. He said that Donald Trump was not a friend. Then he tried to cozy up to Donald Trump. And he also mentioned feeling more at home in Davos. Did he mention Davos at one point? Keir Starmer. So he's another person that I would not trust anywhere near peace in the Middle East. Peace in the Middle East is going to come from the people that are living there, isn't it? The people of that region should decide their future, not European politicians. Let's have a listen to the real Alan Partridge. It's Richard, without Judy anymore, as we welcome the news that hostages are being released from Gaza. Let's listen to how one particular hostage wound up in captivity.
Let me take you through the other names who we know are being released. Could be happening right now. Matan Angres, 22 years old, a soldier in the IDF, kidnapped from a tank during a battle with Hamas fighters near the Gaza border.
Wow, let's say that again.
The IDF, kidnapped from a tank during a battle with Hamas fighters near the Gaza border.
Poor guy, innocent bystander, captured from the privacy of his own tank. All right, I'll just leave that hanging in the air. Of course, there were many crimes committed that day, but when you hear it like that, a soldier in a tank, it makes you think a little bit. Let's hear from Mr. Starmer again. This time, what's he talking about?
Prime Minister, senior Hamas official Dr. Bassem Naim said Blair's not welcome in any post-war role. He said Palestinians, Arabs and Muslims have bad...
Oh, we've had that one. Hold on. I think we've got the same thing twice. We don't need to listen to him more than once. What about a representative of the settler community in that region? Here she is with Piers Morgan, my second favourite Piers.
You've been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. I have to say that given our last interview, this certainly was a surprise to me that you were being seen as somebody driving peace. But do you think that you are worthy of this honour?
Well, I did. It was a surprise for me too. The one who is most interested in it is my husband. He just wanted to know how much money it is and if he has to pay tax. But if we put this aside, I don't think that to know how much money it is and if he has to pay tax. But if we put this aside, I don't think that that prize is something that is more important than what I do all my life. I dedicate my life to establishing communities on the mountain ridge, and now I'm intent even now to establish communities in the entire Gaza area. After the hostages are home, and I hope they will be with their families in the coming 2-3 days, and then we will continue with our efforts to establish Jewish communities in Gaza. I think that wherever Jews live, there is more chance for peace than in areas where there are no Jewish communities. So I didn't ask for the prize, but if you ask if I compare what I do or what Nahala movement, my movement, does to other people or to other organizations, I think that we do a lot for peace in the Middle East and in the world.
Building settlements does a lot for peace in the Middle East and the world. I mean, those settlements are illegal, aren't they? Transplanting a civilian population into war-won land is a war crime. And there were settlements in Gaza up until, I think, 2005. Was that when they pulled them out? But, of course, all the settlers from Gaza went to live in settlements in the West Bank. So it was taking them from one part of occupied Palestine to another. Is that really, can we really consider that a withdrawal? Let's have a listen to a bit of talk radio on the same issue.
Where is Palestine?
In the Middle East.
Yeah, where is it though?
Well,
What's the capital? Who's the leader?
Well, okay, you're referencing Hamas now, and
I'm not referencing it. I'm saying I'm simply
you're
asking
referencing
you.
Hamas now.
If you want to talk about if you want to recognise a Palestinian state,
yeah.
Where is Palestine? Who's the leader, and where's the capital?
Okay, so we have Gaza, the Gaza Strip, and we have the West Bank. Those are the two parts of recognised where Palestinian.
And East Jerusalem.
The West Bank is a disputed territory. I mean, Israel has, for the Zone A in the West Bank, Israel has security responsibility and administrative control.
There's a responsibility that the Palestinian people have a right to stay.
Okay, you may well believe that.
Palestine.
You may well believe that, but the practicalities of the Palestinian state are not there. So again, I ask you, where is it? Who's the leader, and where's the capital?
So at the moment, of course, you're referencing Hamas, which has been designated a terrorist organisation.
Do you think
but we are talking?
I don't know why she brought that up, but she did.
Here about the Palestinian people and the rights of the Palestinian people, not of Hamas or any future government or setup.
They voted for Hamas. Hamas are supported by many Palestinian people, and we know that there are loads of Palestinian people, including in Gaza, who never thought to think, hold on a second, there's an electrician coming in who is putting forward some infrastructure below a hospital. There are people who are buying extra food because they're having hostages. At what point did a lot of those people actually raise the flag and say, hold on a second, there's a hostage in this building, or alternatively that Hamas are building tunnels there? The thing that happens, coming from Northern Ireland, I know, the terrorists can be supported when they swim in the sea of people who support them.
Yeah, and now there's a lot of conflict in Gaza between different factions. Omar Azhar is saying, can please stop breathing so damn loud? Yeah, do you want me not to breathe? Like, shall I suffocate? How am I not going to breathe, Omar Azhar? Some people like it. It's like ASMR. But yeah, sorry if it's ruining your night. The clans that are clashing in... Sorry, let's just move the mic. The trouble, Omar, this mic, it doesn't pick the voice up very well if it's far away, but I'll try it. I'll try it just for you. I like your basketball picture. Are you a basketball player or just a basketball fan? I used to play a bit of basketball back in the day. Now it's too late. Yeah, see? You see, Omar? You can't win. You're going to have to either hear me breathing or not hear me at all. We're experimenting here with our various bits of technology. But yeah, one of the families in Gaza, I don't know if you've heard of them, I've been reading about them, the Dogmush clan. They have been involved in these battles with the ruling party. They might be looking to take power in the power vacuum that will be present. Omar, as I was saying, the people of Gaza are a roadblock in bringing peace to the region. So what do you do then, Omar, if the people of Gaza are a roadblock to peace in the region? Do you get them out of Gaza? Is that what you're looking to do? Empty Gaza of its Palestinian population and put in a Trump Tower and refill it with settlers, people living in settlements, racial colonies? Why are they a roadblock to peace, Omar? Is it because they have continued to resist and exist? Why are they a problem, a roadblock in the region? That's quite strong language. But I wanted to tell you about this family. The Dogmush family are a clan, a Palestinian clan from the Gaza Strip. And I think Gaza is now being flooded with weapons so that these people can fight each other and there'll be absolute chaos. But the family, this particular family, who seem to be I don't want to say warlords, but they are that type of group. The family originally came to Gaza from Turkey in the 20th century. So their name is also spelt Dogmus, means born, using the past tense. Other possible spellings are Dogmuş. So it's a Turkish origin family that have become very powerful in Gaza, and it would seem that they have there is alleged execution being done by them. Omar Azhar is saying the resistance is good, but the implications of low diplomacy and lack of strategic coordination between neighbouring states shows the Gazans are not good at governing or foreign policy. Okay, the Gazans. I wonder what makes the Gazans like that. Could it be the conditions they're living under? Where are you from, Omar Azhar? Your surname is the same as the university in Egypt. Are you from Egypt? That is my guess. I wonder if you studied at Al-Azhar University. Al-Azhar means the flowers, if I'm correct. Is that right? Zahra, flower, Azhar, flowers. Correct me if I'm wrong. And what do you see as the future for this region? Is it one state, two states, three states, the status quo? Omar Azhar is saying they elected Hamas, but the West Bank is doing much better, although they are more compliant in bending the knee to the apartheid regime. Okay, so you acknowledge, or you believe that there is an apartheid regime, so you're quite critical of Israel. You seem to be critical of the Gazans also. Someone did show me a map recently that showed the West Bank riddled with settlements, and of course Gaza had settlements and they were all pulled out. So there's something different about Gaza and the West Bank. We've got The World For You in the chat. The World For You is a great channel that I encourage you all to subscribe to. Saj runs that channel. Saj, I could have got you on the screen as well, but I thought you might be asleep, so I didn't get you involved. I could get you. I wonder, Saj, if you want to talk, we could get you via audio only. Saj is saying, we are covering all sorts of The World For You. Should I come on? Yeah, look, Saj, if you call this number on a WhatsApp call, I could get you audio. I can't get you on the screen at the minute, unfortunately, because I'm playing video. I've just sent you a message, Saj. I'm hoping it will get through to you. You can call me on that number. Saj is multilingual. If you go on his channel, a lot of it is in Spanish, but there's always subtitles available. He's a speaker of multiple languages, and his latest language that he's learning is Spanish. I was very impressed by that. I might be able to put the number on the screen. Yeah, Saj, you can call that number if it comes up. And so can anyone else if they want to get involved. 07886 993 784. We'll get you on audio only because you've just recently been to Palestinian protests in Mexico, and the whole world has been waking up to what's going on in Palestine, and it's interesting to see it in a different country, in a different continent, even. But yeah, what do we see as the future for this region? And someone made the point the other day that this region was carved up by the Western powers. We know that Sykes-Picot, the French and the British, carved up the Levant, what's known as Greater Syria, which includes Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, Palestine. And people question, well, why are Palestinians so attached to this identity that was given to them by the British? But I mean, that region's been known as Palestine for a lot longer than that, and people have described themselves as Palestinian for a lot longer than that. But in a way, it doesn't really matter, does it? Because if your family were kicked out of your village in 1948, it doesn't matter what jurisdiction you were under. Your land is your land, your house is your house. You have the right to go back there, whatever country it is part of. And if not, I mean, you need some kind of identity to describe all those people that got kicked out, because the people that got kicked out all had something in common. And this new state was built upon those destroyed villages. But it is interesting to consider, what's in a name. Would it matter if you called the country something else, but everyone was living there happily, if no one had been turfed out of their land? I spoke to a Ukrainian gentleman recently at Speaker's Corner, and he referenced the joke that someone first of all lived in the Habsburg dynasty, then they lived in the Ottoman Empire, then they lived in the Austro-Hungarian Empire. They lived in like 3-4 different empires growing up, but they never moved house. Yes, lands, empire. And another friend has a song, My Mate George, on Instagram. Check him out. He's got a great song about Gaza and Bisan from Gaza. I'm still alive. And one of the lines mentions that empires come and go. They're built on sand. Yes, this was part of the Ottoman Empire. It was part of the British Mandate, but the people's blood is in the land, and the land is in their blood. How can you expect people to turn their back on the place where they're born and bred after 70 years, but also give the right of return to people who claim to have lived there 2,000 years ago? How is it it's okay for one and not okay for another? I mean, that has to be racism, isn't it? Or some kind of ethnocentrism, if it's one ethnicity is welcome after 2,000 years and another is forbidden after 70. I don't know, are we going to hear from Saj? I've put the number out there. You can give it a try, Saj, or anyone else is welcome to give it a try. We can do a bit of phone-in radio if anyone wants to give me their take on what's happening in Palestine. Another video I put up on the channel recently, and I'll make the point again now. Where are all the people that were so eager to go and help out in Syria? For 10 years during the Syrian revolution, so many people, Shamima Begum being a famous one, she wanted to go and live in the new Islamic system, and then none of those type of people wanted to go and help in Gaza. Unfortunately, Truth Light is saying Arabs have 22 states. Arabs. Okay. So what? What are you saying? Is that an argument against there ever being a Palestinian state? Doesn't everyone have the right to self-determination and the right not to be booted out of their house? Doesn't matter whether you speak Arabic or not. That hasn't got anything to do with anything, does it? Languages come and go as well. Languages evolve. The majority of Palestinians speak Arabic now. Okay. Does that mean that they should go and live in Morocco or Bahrain because they speak the same language? A lot of the people that live in Israel come from families that originally spoke Arabic. Many of them are Arabs, but they have qualified for a different citizenship, different nationality. Well, I'd love to hear from Saj or anyone else if you want to give the number a call. Truth Light, if you want to debate me, if that's what you're hinting at. Arabs have 22 states. You can call the number. It's +44 7886 993 784 if you want to have a chat. I'm happy to hear from people that disagree with me. I think one thing we've lost in a lot of social media and a lot of mainstream media, or even I'm thinking of shows like George Galloway, the mother of all talk shows. Great radio program, goes out live every Sunday. I'm a big fan of George Galloway. I'm proud to be a friend of George Galloway. But back in the day, George Galloway used to have fantastic ding-dong arguments back and forth. Nutters used to phone him up to argue the other side, argue against him. You don't get so much of that anymore. Everyone seems to be in their own echo chamber. You get people phoning up to agree with you because the algorithm is only showing us things that we agree with. And I think we're missing that spark of the clash of differing opinions. Noah Hazi is saying, ice wrapped hell. 3 words. Is he giving us a coded message there? And now he's saying, Luther Satanist, Calvino Arianist. What does that mean, Noah Hazi? What are you talking about? Luther, I mean, I think we all know who Luther is. Luther Vandross. Where are we getting Satanist and Calvino-Arianist? I can see the word Arian in there. That's leaping out at me. Noah Hazi is saying, you know. Well, no I don't, but I'm trying to work it out. Luther Satanist, Calvino-Arianist. Alright, Arianist, we're talking about the Aryan race. Calvin, is it as in Calvinist, the Protestant Revolution? Luther Martin, okay. Martin Luther, not that one. Martin Luther was the great Protestant reformer. That's nothing to do with the Middle East. Calvin was another Protestant reformer. And the Aryans are the superior race that some people used to go on about. Running with Scissors, that's a name, and that's something very dangerous, says, please clarify your position on Palestine. I support Palestine, and I believe what's been done to the Palestinians is a horrendous crime. Is that clear enough for you? Running with Scissors? But I'm happy to hear opposing views. I'm eager to hear opposing views. I think, as I say, most people end up talking only to people that they agree with, and I don't think that gets us anywhere. Running with Scissors says absolutely. Yeah, okay, well then we're on the same page. Running with Scissors. Please clarify your name. How did you come up with the name Running with Scissors? And I hope it's not something that we're encouraging people to do. I like your design as well. It looks like is that a molecule or an atom or God knows what? It looks very scientific. Yeah, I don't know if Saj is still there, but we were going to speak to The World for You, a great channel to follow, highly recommended. And Noor Hazi, I don't know what you were talking about with your Martin Luther quotes. Running with Scissors says, I'm not able to say other. Lol, hairdresser. Okay, he or she or they are a hairdresser. Running with Scissors. Proud to say I cut my own hair, but I use the clippers. I'm not talented enough to use Decisu, but good for you if you are. And we'll always need hairdressers and barbers, won't we? That was one of the criticisms, and there's a lot of criticism when the hostages were released. Someone said, "Oh look, they've had a haircut." You know, there are some things that have always got to be done, haven't they? All right, folks, I will do this again, and I will try and make it more regular, and I will try and put the phone number in the title so that if anyone wants to have a chat with me, they will be able to do so. And like I say, I really appreciate interacting with people who have a different opinion. I'm not going to be rude to you. If you come on here and you support Israel, I do not. If you do, we'll have a discussion. That'll be we'll all be better for it. And I'm also eager to speak to anyone who knows about Sudan and Congo, these other regions that are having a conflict, having turmoil at the moment, that some people have kind of tried to use as a sort of a whataboutery, as if we can't care about more than one region, or if you care about one, you don't care about another. But I will be the first to admit that I need to learn more about what's happening in Congo and Sudan. Look, I've been to Palestine. I haven't been to Congo or Sudan yet. I would love to go. Wiggles is saying, why can't you take my call? Wiggles, look, try again. I might have missed it. We're in the UK. I don't know if that's a problem. The number is on there, and I'll repeat it again. +44 7886 993 784. Ken Masters is saying, is there Jews in Gaza? Look, sorry Wiggles if you tried to call and I didn't get it. I'm not sure why. I should be able to receive calls. I'm just going to turn my vibration on so I don't miss it, but I can't tell you why that didn't go through. You could try and leave a voice note and I could play it. This is a number that I only ever use like for this channel. You're not going to get prank calls from me or anything like that. Ken Masters is saying, I mean after 2004. Yeah, so all the Jewish people that were living in settlements up until I think 2005, Ken, were removed and went to live in the West Bank, which is a different part of Palestine. So they went from one part of Palestine to another part of Palestine, living in the illegal settlements that are racial colonies. Noah Hazi, you should hear Hillard Bernard about Lubavitch, Schneerson and Calvino-Arianist and Luthero-Satanist and the Crown and Masons. Okay. I only know Lubavitch as in Chabad Lubavitch, who I think are a particular religious school of thought or sect within Judaism. I've been to one of their synagogues in Ukraine. If you look on the channel, there is a playlist from a few years back when I was in Ukraine, and on the last day before I left Ukraine, Jamal and I, who accompanied me in Ukraine, had a little bit of a tour around a synagogue in Ukraine, Kiev, and I believe that was a Chabad Lubavitch synagogue. Ken Masters is saying, I'm IDF reservist, you are tools for Satan. Okay. What's it like to be an IDF reservist, Ken? Do you feel on edge? Do you feel anxious about being called up? Are you proud to serve your country? How does that feel? Noah Hazi is saying, you lack a lot. Good to pretend being innocent. Noah Hazi is speaking in some kind of code. Very difficult to decipher. But Noah Hazi is definitely try to say something. Ken Masters saying, nah, we own the entire Middle East, bro. Who's we, Ken? Who's we? Are you speaking on behalf of the IDF? Are you hoping for from the Nile to the Euphrates? Is that what you're hoping for? Some people hope for that, apparently. I like your picture as well. It looks like some kind of martial artist. I assume that you are trained in the art of Krav Maga. Ken Masters is saying, yes, not elders of the Zion-ish. Okay. So, I don't know much about the elders of Zion, only it was apparently a fabricated document. The protocols, I think they call it. Yeah, I don't know much about that, but eager to learn if you want to tell me, as you are IDF reservist. Ken saying, yeah, them be crazies. What you said. Alright, Ken. From Nile to Euphrates. So in the chat we've got somebody who's hoping for from the Nile to the Euphrates. And that lady that we had on the screen earlier, I'll not play her again, but I've heard her mention that she's hopeful for that as well. So, yeah, you never know. You never know what the future will look like. But it's up for grabs. Jim Moroni is saying the name Palestine was the name the Romans came up with after they exiled the Jews in 70 CE. You never see the term Palestinians until 1967. Okay. Well, I mean, you did see the name, or the name Palestine before that. But a lot of nationalisms were not around until the 20th century. I mean, nationalism itself is something of a 19th into 20th century phenomenon, isn't it? Isn't it? I sound a bit like Louis Theroux there, isn't it? Nationalism. It's a modern invention, isn't it? But that doesn't mean that therefore the people that live there have got no right to live there, and they should go somewhere else. I don't. As I said, what's in a name? It doesn't really matter what you call yourself. The people that live in a land should have the right to live there and not be pushed out. Ken Masters is saying, I'm against them. Correct, it's geographical term. Look, Wiggles has tried the phone number again and had no luck. I'm very sorry, Wiggles. I can only urge you to maybe try a WhatsApp call. I wonder, does this phone only work on WhatsApp? I'm really sorry that you're trying to call and not get through, but I appreciate you trying. I would urge you to try WhatsApp, or maybe send a WhatsApp voice message, and I will play it for all to hear. Ken Masters is saying every use of word Palestine was then used in tandem with the word Israel, homeland of the Jews. Why Jordan didn't give Palestine its country in the 60s? Well, you see, when Jordan occupied the West Bank and East Jerusalem, Jordan wasn't encroaching on the land and booting people out of it and transferring Jordanians into settlements for people that are only Jordanian. Jordan was just administering the land. So the people there didn't feel victimized in the way that you would feel victimized if your land was being encroached upon and a wall was being built beyond the Green Line to eat away your land. And maybe that is something to do with it. Noah Hazi is saying, read Pierre Hillard. Okay, I'll try and get onto that. And Ken Masters is saying, or Egypt. Yeah, Egypt controlled the Gaza from 48 to 67. As I say, they weren't flooding it with Egyptian living in Egyptian-only settlements, were they? They weren't having Egyptians from every corner of the world come and live there at the expense of the people living there originally. Noah Hazi is saying the geopolitologist, historian, scholar Pierre Hillard, special of globalism. I'll have to get around to reading some of that. 5% says, until the philosophy which holds one race superior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned, everywhere is war. I think Bob Marley used that lyric at some point, didn't he? 5%, are you a 5%er? Does that reference the Islamic sect in the US? Is that what your 5% is a reference to? I'm always fascinated by the names that people choose on here. Ken is saying, lol, they are the same people, same DNA. Well, we're all pretty similar DNA, aren't we? Though some people do say that DNA tests are illegal over there. Can't imagine why. Nur Hazi is saying, role of Manasseh ben Israel, the Portuguese-born rabbi. Manasseh ben Israel played a crucial role in the steps that led to the readmission of the seed of Zionism in the UK. Okay, a Portuguese-born. Let's listen to someone who's calling us, I think, from Ireland. Who's this?
How are you doing?
I'm very good. Who's with us?
This is Wiggles. I was trying to get.
Oh, hello, Wiggles. Oh, look, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Sorry you couldn't get through. Welcome, Wiggles. What's your take on all of this?
Well, I think we're getting drawn into this globalist kind of thing. Is what I think about it. Is that when you actually look at it in comparison to what's happening in Ukraine, there's a million people dead there, and it's not as important. And there's Christians being killed all over the world, and it's not such a big deal. So,
do you think? Are you saying Ukraine's not as important, or people perceive it as not as important?
People perceive it as not as important.
Okay, but we did see Ukraine. I mean, I live in England, and we saw Ukraine flags on every building. Every school had the Ukraine flag. People were signing up to go and fight in Ukraine, and we brought Ukrainian refugees in, and people were given money to do so. So, was Ukraine not more important in that sense?
That's a good point, because we opened the doors to Ukrainians, and we didn't do so in the same way for other people in other conflict zones. So that is true, but I think media-wise, we're getting bombarded by the conflict. It's like genocide porn. And that's a very harsh way to put it, but you can't help but feel sorry for the people that are going through this. But there's a real politic behind that.
Okay, yeah, I take your point. What are you one of these people that says, "Oh, what about Sudan and Congo? Why we're not hearing about that?" Because that's another valid point that people have brought up. And I admit I don't know enough about it, but you can't know about everything, can you?
No, that's true. Yeah, and Nigeria would be one for me that is very important at the moment, because Christians are having a hard time there and getting driven out, and their churches burned, and I see them, trying to have mass in a burnt out church, and it touches me as a Christian, kind of like that this is happening to our brothers in Nigeria, and there isn't the same kind of political pressure to stop that.
It's interesting. Do you think that? I'm trying to think how I can word this. Muslims tend to have a stronger solidarity when other Muslims are suffering, as compared with Christians when other Christians are suffering?
Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah, absolutely. There's more of a brotherhood there.
Okay.
Yeah, there's absolutely more solidarity. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
I mean, look, I admire you for. And look, I get from the. Sorry to give anything away. It was an Irish phone number, so I assumed you're calling from Ireland, and I hear an accent as well. But I admire you, if you are an Irishman, seeing solidarity with your Christians on a different continent from a different background, but you regard them as your brothers in faith. I just hope we can all do that for everyone, all humanity. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, there is a shared humanity, and I wish, the reason that I was ringing is that you were saying that the two sides are not talking to each other, and I totally agree with that. Is that people from different sides should talk to each other.
Definitely.
And we're living in a more polarized world, and it's just heartbreaking for me. I live out in the countryside, and I still, fortunately for me, I'm able to walk out my door and not lock it. And the one thing that I visited England, and on many occasions, but I was there one time, and I went into the house, and she said my friend told me to lock the door, and I was like, why would you lock the door going into your house? And it just struck a chord with me. I was like, God, that's not right,
Yeah.
Whatever about going out and locking your door because you're afraid of robbers, that if you go into your house and you lock the door, that's a different thing, you know. You're afraid of something else then.
That's right, yeah. Did you ever watch Michael Moore's film? I think it was Bowling for Columbine, when he goes in. He goes to Canada and just starts knocking on people. Well, not even knocking. He just goes into the house and people are like, "Yeah, you're welcome." And that's Canada, just up the road from America. But they went in, or they retained. I don't know if Canada's still like that now. I know that film's probably 20 years ago now. But yeah, it would be nice to live in that world.
But that was based on a paper called Bowling Alone, which talked about social isolation and, you know, the implications of that.
Really? I never knew that. I never knew where I mean, I saw the film, but I didn't know the name of it.
Yeah, I think that it's based on that. Like, don't quote me on it. Like, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is about kind of like, you know, that's the name anyway is kind of like, you know, this.
I never knew that.
Basically, you know, this is the implication of, you know, kind of like people being separated and atomized, basically.
Yeah, that's what we've become. And then Fahrenheit 9/11. Well, we can talk about that another time. But look, Wiggles, I'm going to wrap it up. But I really appreciate you getting in touch. Brilliant, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah, anytime. I'll try and do more of these, and this will be the number.
Do please.
Take care, my friend. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you. Look, we're going international. That was Wiggles from Ireland, talking about Nigeria and the world. And I really appreciate all of you joining me on here. Ghost user is saying Jesus died for you and me and defeated death and rose 3 days later and gifted us the Holy Ghost, so we shall sin no more. Really appreciate it, gentlemen, ladies, whoever's in the chat. Subscribe and look out for more live streams like this, and I will be with you again, God willing. We were here. We're gone. Laters.